Jamsters, what's going on? What's going on? And welcome to a jam session short, a jort, if you will. Yeah, you can see we're not in our normal studio. I'm in my backyard and, hanging out with Brooklyn here. And Matthews, you're in a parking lot somewhere, right, dude?
Yeah, I'm right outside of work right now.
There you go. So,
Yeah.
we always say follow us on Twitter at Suns Jam, follow us on Twitter at Darth Void and at Matthew Lissy. And if you want to follow him to work, you can see now the parking lot of his work, and you can follow him there. So obviously, we're doing this jam session short because the All-Star game was. Wherever you go, there's always motorcycles, isn't there? Matthew?
Oh, I'm gonna escape.
Oh no, where's he going? Okay, jam session shorts, gotta love them. But coming to you live, considering the fact that the All-Star game starters were announced today, right? So reserves they'll be doing, I believe, on February 3rd. But today was the All-Star game starters, and the Phoenix Suns, the best team. Are you there, Matthew? Can you hear me?
I'm there. Yeah. Someone called me and it cut me off, so that's weird.
Gotcha. Well, and then we heard a motorcycle, which is kind of par for the course, right?
Yeah, that's my thing, dude.
So, we're telling the Jamsters that we are coming to you live in this jam session short simply because they released the All-Star game starters today, just moments ago, right? February 3rd is where we're going to get the full All-Star teams, but the All-Star game starters have been announced, and the best team in the NBA, your Phoenix Suns, are starting a grand total of 0 All-Stars. Matthew, instant reaction.
Oh, it was crazy. Actually, I looked at the starting lineup on TNT for the moment. They had like the 5 guys behind them, and I was like, wait, is that Andrew Wiggins? He was in. John Morant. Okay, no Devin Booker. I was like, all right. So Andrew Wiggins, basically, his first good year. He had a good year this year. His first time he's done anything good. He's an all-star starter.
Yeah.
That is insane. Like, over Devin Booker. No, of course his spot's not over Devin Booker, but it's more John Morant is. And John Morant just leaps Devin Booker this year, like, already. It's like these guys come into the NBA and they just leap him. Like, Booker gets leaped over so many times, and it's just disappointing, man.
Yeah, and I for those of you who are watching along live, you see Matthew doesn't have at Matthew Lissy as his name. It's Big Dick Book, giving some homage to Devin Booker and the fact that he should have gotten in. And I agree. I think that's a good place to start, and that's where everyone's going to start, right? It's Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins somehow got in there. We knew that the possibility, at least, of this happening was going to occur because of the fan vote. The fan vote had Andrew Wiggins in there, and don't get me wrong, like, not a horrible season, but to your point, like, you have Devin Booker, who can't get into the All-Star game for a plethora of different reasons kind of throughout his career. Well, he's a good stats, bad team guy. Well, the team's okay, but you know what? They're the 8th seed right now, so he's just not good enough to be even on the team. Now he's the best player on the best team, and Chris Paul could potentially be the best player on the best team. They're both a fantastic guard play, and neither get in there. And like you said, John Morant leaps over Devin Booker and Chris Paul, essentially, to get that starting nod. These are the little things. These are the things that truly don't matter, but still they're the things that kind of piss you off, right?
Yeah, and this is how I look without a hat, so I'm sorry about that, guys. It's just it's like all these guys that made it, I guess, make sense besides Wiggins. It's just you want to see the respect for Booker because he's deserved it, he's earned it. And I don't know what else he really has to do to get that all-starting start. Like, even if they won the finals last year, you think he would get it this year? Probably not.
No,
because of the way John Morant's playing. Like, I can't. He'll be a reserve, but I just can't comprehend how he just does not get the nod over John Morant. I don't know what to say, really. It's very strange, man. We're still doing this.
Yeah, I know. And Fabio says it in the chat. He says Steph shouldn't be a starter, has played terrible lately.
Yeah.
And I get it. Steph definitely has the statistics, and he's on the second best team in the NBA. But you think you would award a guy like Devin Booker, who's been playing out of his mind, dropped 43 points last night, has 32.3 points in his last 7 games, leading the best team in the NBA, is not even a starter on the NBA or on the All-Star team. It's just a travesty. Do you know the last time that a member of the best team in the NBA at the All-Star break wasn't elected to an All-Star team?
Was it last year?
an all-star starter. It was last year, the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, Utah
No one,
Jazz. Yeah.
yeah.
So we are the Utah Jazz.
We are.
this year.
That's what I'm getting from this though. Is the league is looking at us like the Utah Jazz, like, yeah, you know what? Phoenix is playing really good basketball. They play together. They play for each other. They're amazing in the clutch. They win games. But, like, did you see Ja? He blocked somebody the other night. How about that Andrew Wiggins, man? Like,
it's the first. I mean, that's the way the game was last night. It was the first thing that was shown right after the Suns game was Ja Morant beating the San Antonio Spurs, carrying them to a victory. And that's basically what happened today. It's just him again getting the nod over Devin Booker. Eventually, yeah, he's a starter in the All-Star game, but it's just, I don't know. I did pick him for MVP. It's just this year, Book has just played so exceptionally well, and he's carried this team with Chris Paul, and they still get no respect. Ayton probably maybe had a chance if he wasn't hurt. He probably maybe would have had a chance, but he's
I don't know.
More of a
Jokic
reserve this year.
Yeah,
he's more
Jokic
of a reserve
is playing
this
out of
year.
his mind. I'm with you. And at the end of the day, I think we both know both Chris Paul and Devin Booker will be starters. So, I'm not starters. They'll be reserves, and they'll be members of the Western Conference All-Star team. It's just, again, we talk about it multiple times on our post-game podcast. It's frustrating not to get the level of respect. Does it matter? Ultimately, no. Again, in our opinion, the Suns really, until you win a championship, you haven't done anything. And we've been close, but we haven't won anything. And sometimes it's okay to have that disrespect because it fuels the fire. Why do you think Devin Booker's gone absolutely apeshit for the past 7 games? Part of it's because his team is down DeAndre Ayton, and he has a responsibility to assist and score more points because DA's not there. But believe me, seeing those fan returning votes coming in every week on Mondays, that probably sparked him a little bit too. So seeing him get plighted, it's going to be interesting to see how Devin Booker plays against the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow. I'm excited to see that, man, because he might come out and on fire, man.
Yeah, and he can just show like how he can carry a team. I think a lot of it's just like, all right, so I have a good team around me. I'm not relying on a lot of these guys anymore because our team is depleted like everybody else. So I'll show you what I can do, and carrying them to victory while being efficient. Of course, the game before last, he had like 35 shot attempts, but that shouldn't matter, man. I think just what you see on the court from him is just, it's a superstar. It's a guy that needs to be in the starting lineup. So that's basically it. And you knew coming into this, I did, that he wasn't going to get it.
Without a doubt.
If he got it, I'd be shocked. It's still disappointing because it's something that, and they talked about in the TNT broadcast too. They're like, well, the Suns are the best team. And then Barkley's like, yeah, Devin Booker's been playing great. Like no one even mentioned him. Like it's weird.
What are your thoughts on LeBron James being an all-star?
I knew it happened.
Starter.
Yeah, it's LeBron. I mean, he can play 2 games a year or in the beginning of the year, and he'll still get it, right?
I guess, with Andrew Wiggins starting, and yeah, you're right about LeBron. But LeBron, in my opinion, has also played like an all-star this season. He's carried that team to 24-24. They'd be a lot worse if they didn't have LeBron on their team,
Yeah.
But I guess with Andrew Wiggins being selected to the All-Star game, does it just go to show you that forwards in the Western Conference aren't that good? Because, I mean, if he's a starter, what other forwards scare you in the Western Conference? There's no Paul George because he's hurt. Because I think Paul George would have been the starter. If Andrew Wiggins, or if Paul George wasn't hurt, it would have been Paul George over Andrew Wiggins. And then I could look at this all-star starting roster holistically and go, you know what? Does it suck that the Suns didn't get a guy in there? Yeah, and that's what we've been talking about on this jam session short. But at least they got it right. But with Andrew Wiggins in there, it tells you one of two things. They either got it wrong or the forward depth in the Western Conference is trash.
Yeah, I think it's both. I mean, I think you hit it on the head there because if you really go through like these teams, like who else would start over Wiggins? Because honestly, Wiggins had a really good year. And the more you think about Wiggins, you're just like, you look at his totality as a career and how terrible it's kind of been leading up to this point with Golden State, where no one still believed in them but Golden State. He's put up good numbers. He's efficient. He can play both sides of the ball. So I feel like he's kind of earned it. And I think it's just because we're so upset that Booker didn't make it. We're focusing all our negative energy on the Wiggins thing, like a lot of people on Twitter. But he's kind of deserved it, but it just does suck, like I said before, where it's his first really good year. And then a player like him can just get a starting position in an all-star game. You know what I mean? It's just like Booker is just – I don't know what he needs to do. I think he needs to revamp his image or something. Something has to happen for him to get the respect because he's doing it all on the court where it should only matter.
Yeah, exactly. But apparently it doesn't. So,
Yeah.
There you go, Jamsters. A Jamster short talking about the All-Star starters being released. When they release the reserves, we'll probably do another one. That'll be February 3rd. But again, you can catch us, our post-game podcast tomorrow after the Suns play the Minnesota Timberwolves. Until then, you can follow me on Twitter at Darth Voida. You can follow Matthew on Twitter.
Big Dick Book.
And you can follow the pod at Suns Jam. So on that note, everybody, we'll see you tomorrow night. And Booker got screwed.
See ya. Go home and love your family.
Oh, okay. I think I will.